fuck is up, my britches? If you are new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and today should be a relatively quick one because I am taking on Morgan Turner and Patty Alonso's perfect makeup tag. So I have everything on my face that I'm going to talk about, and try telling me that this makeup don't look perfect right now. I'm just kidding. Let me put my horn away, okay? But today, I'm just going to talk about a bunch of makeup that I love. So if you guys like this video, if you guys like tags, don't forget to thumbs up this video or thumbs it down. That's cool too. If you're hate watching, I appreciate you. And I'm just going to dive right into this because this should be relatively quick. I want to know though if you guys in the live chat are going to guess which products that I'm going to talk about today. So let's play along. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on these questions as well. If you guys want to see any other creators do this tag, I just think tags are super fun. So here we are. Lego. First question is, which primer creates the perfect base? So we're using the term perfect very loosely because is anything perfect in this world? Hell to the nah. So if I were to pick primers that give me the perfect base, the one in particular that I use today is the Good Molecules, the Silicone Free Priming Moisturizer. I'm not going to lay overlays over today's video. I think I'm going to post something on either Instagram or TikTok of how I got this look today. So if you guys want that, you better be following me on my other socials. But this primer, the reason why I love this so much is because technically it's like a moisturizer. So it doesn't gear towards like being poreless or anything. It's just literally supposed to be something that's like a moisturizing agent for your skin. It's like $14 from Beautylish or Good Molecules. And it just makes my makeup look incredible. Like every time I use this, I just come and look at my face and I'm like, why does everything look so fucking good on top of this? It's just one of those primers every time I come back to it. Why did I stop using it? I also was going to throw in the Sicily, the Double Tenseur Instant and Long-Term Primer, but I don't have the full size. I talked about this in my Best of Beauty for 2021 so far. We posted that yesterday. But these two primers are at the top of my collection right now. But if I were to pick between the two currently, without using this one for longer than like a little trial size, I would still pick this one because, again, the price point is like $14. It's easily accessible at Beautylish. And I love this too because, especially since I always film or go live before I go to work, so I don't necessarily want to waste like my really good like touch-up products on basically like applying my makeup and then just taking it right off. I also go live at night, so it's like I'm taking my makeup off right before. So this easily just takes the place of my moisturizer. But in the case that I usually put, or in the case that I put up like a moisturizer on underneath it, it still plays nicely with my Tatcha, the Dewy Skin Cream, or I've been using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. These two are the bomb.com. Angelica asked, do you put that primer on as your moisturizer or after? I do both, and it looks incredible both ways. So these are the primers that I would choose, but for this price, you cannot beat that Good Molecules. Number 2 is, what is the foundation that has the perfect finish? I picked like a luxury, and I also picked a drugstore because Physicians Formula did us so dirty with this healthy foundation because this is the best foundation I've ever found at the drugstore. It's got a terrible shade range, so that's another thing. Like, Physicians Formula, can you do us a solid, bring this back, extend the range, and make it easily accessible at the drugstore? Thank you so much. Because this is literally the best. It's so good. It's so skin-like. It just looks natural, but it has like the perfect amount of, I would say like light medium coverage, but it's still buildable. I don't think it gets quite up to full coverage, but this looks incredible on the skin. But if I had to pick one, I've got to go with the Dior Airflash. I think Morgan Turner choose this one as well. But this one, this is what I'm wearing today. It just looks fucking flawless. It looks airbrushed. It looks skin-like. It looks natural. It just is pure perfection. Like, you know, I love a damn foundation when it's $62 and I buy 2 of them. I'll just say that. I was toying with the Gucci. Even though I love the Gucci, I still feel like my skin looks at its absolute best and super natural and beautiful, like your skin but better. This one always is the winner. I have the shades 3.5N and 400. I actually ran out of 400 today, so see you in my empties. So 3.5N is what I'm wearing today. This is a run, don't walk. If you have not tried it, I know it's Sephora VIB sales coming up. This is one. Add to cart. I know, Amanda says, what? Not the Gucci? I was about this close. It's the undertones that aren't really that perfect for me. And this is just like my skin, but better. Whereas the Gucci, it's like there's something different about it. And I love the ease of application with this one as well. And it's like I have such minimal foundation. And it looks like, I think my skin looks better today than it did yesterday. So this is like my preference. I think if you were to ask my husband, he'd probably pick the Gucci though. So man, oh man, Dior Airflash is 100% that bitch. Dior is one of my favorite brands anyways, but Venice, you have not tried the Airflash. The fuck you doing? You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that at the VIB sale if it takes everything in me to get you to get it. Okay, so the next one is which concealer has the perfect coverage? I picked 3 because they're for different purposes, okay? So if I need something that basically, like, you guys always hear me bitch and complain about this little scar right here. I feel like I can never find anything that covers it. I still don't feel like it's perfect, but it's the best one that I found for when I actually remember to use it. The NARS, the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This is just, I mean, it's a super creamy formula, but it has so much pigmentation to it. It's redunculous. I think it just comes down to, like, I blend too much over the top of it, so it basically shears it out. So the way that I used it today, I basically put it underneath everything, and I just tried not to, like, buff over it too much with my brush, but I still should have went a little bit lighter in that area. I just need to get used to the whole, like, correcting. Maybe I need to find something with more of like an orangey tint to it, but this one is like, if I need to cover imperfections, this is the one that I would recommend. But the 2 concealers for like under eyes, I had 2 simply because one's for like natural days, one's for more glam days. If I want something that's more glam, I'm gonna go for the Pat McGrath, the, what the hell is this even called, the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. I need to get another one of these because this one is on its last leg. But I love this because it has high coverage, but it looks so flattering on the skin. But if I had to pick one concealer, I'm going with Dior. This is the one I have on today, simply because it has a natural finish. It's natural. It's like a medium. Yeah, I would say it's like medium. Not really buildable, though. I feel like once you have, I don't know, it's like once you lay it down, it's like the coverage doesn't really change. I fucking love Dior. Okay, I love Dior because of the skin-like effect that it has on the skin. And that's all I have to say about it because that's it. Dior, yup, Kate guessed it right. And then which powder gives you the perfect blur? I picked 2. One's a loose powder, one's a pressed powder. If I'm going for a loose powder, which is how I typically do my makeup, I'm going with the Hailey's Beauty, the Retouch Soft Focus Setting Powder. I talked about this again yesterday in my best of beauty for 2021 so far. I didn't realize how good this was until you guys were making comments on like how blurred and just perfected my skin looked when I used this. I do prefer to use this with like a damp sponge, but if I'm using a pressed powder or like a touch-up powder, I have to go with the Chantecaille. Again, talked about this yesterday, but I love it simply because it's just like texture, where'd you go? Pores where? It just makes everything look so much more smooth. And then especially with the combo that I have today, like the Good Molecules, Dior on top of Dior, and then these on top, it's like, come on. My skin looks real fucking good today, especially for how much texture that I feel that I have. So those are definitely my 2 favorite powders. And then which bronzer has the perfect undertone? I picked a cream and a powder for this one because I'm favorable to both. If I had to pick the perfect cream bronzer, I'm going with the Milk Makeup, the matte bronzer in the shade Baked. This is a little bit light for me, but I did use it today, and I think it still looked very natural, and the undertone is just perfect. Again, on its last leg, I don't even think I could swatch this just so you guys could see it. Nope, sure can't. But this is where I'm like, if you've never tried Milk, get these little trial sizes because they're literally half the price and these last you forever. Forever. I think I got this for Christmas. Like, I got it during the, like, November VIB sale, I think a year and a half ago. And I just ran out of it today. So there's that. This is just, it's perfect for me. It's not anything revolutionary. It says it's a matte bronzer, but it's not matte. It has a more, like, skin-like finish to it. It has, like, a slight, I don't want to say dew, but it has just like a, hold on, let me try to dig my finger in here to see if I can get it. Because I'm like, listen, this is not matte. Like, where are you trying to get matte out of this? Because it's definitely not matte. It's very creamy. You can't see it. If I post the little, like, tutorial or whatever on my Instagram or TikTok, you'll see me apply it there. It's very light for my skin tone now, but it still works as a bronzer, and it's just the undertone. It's like the perfect neutral. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. And then my powder bronzer is the Gucci. I was toying between this one or the Hourglass Ambient Bronzing Powder in Luminous Bronze Light. But before I talk about that powder again, I need to get another one because it's a tragic situation. But since I had talked about the Hourglass one for years, like probably almost a decade. It's been my favorite bronzer for a really long time. This is the closest one that has come to the Hourglass for me. I do have this on my face right now. It's the perfect amount of warmth because I do favor a warm tone bronzer. It can't be too warm. I don't want to look red. This just has the perfect bronze goddess moment for me. So I have the shade number 3. And then just everything else on top of it, the packaging. Gucci's just a brand that I adore. And I can't wait to buy more from. But I love this bronzer. I do think it has the perfect undertone. And then we have, which blush is the perfect shade? Oh, this one was hard. I went through so many blushes because I'm a blush bitch. I love blushes. If I had to pick probably a favorite product, it's either blush or highlight. So this one took me a moment, but I'm like, what's the one that I've reached for the most? Which the one that I've raved about for the longest? Like, all these kind of things went into my head when I was choosing, so I picked a cream and a powder. I have just loved the Becca Songbird, I almost said highlighter. The Becca Mineral Blush in Songbird. I just think this shade is so unique. I haven't found a shade that's like this, and it just gives me exactly what I look for, because I'm like just getting into more like pinky blushes. I typically like something like this that's almost like warm. It's got like a terracotta vibe to it, but it just makes my skin look almost like sun-kissed but sunburnt almost, but not quite. It's a very particular vibe that I go for, but this has stood the test of time. Like, I've raved about this. I bet you if you went back on my channel in my very first videos, I was talking about this one. I almost pulled the Chanel. But this one has just, I don't know, it's just because of the shade. It's so different from my collection. And then since I love like orangey tones and shit, this is like my most used cream blush. The Tower 28 Golden Hour, what are these even called? The Buildable Luminous Color or the Beach Please Luminous Tinted Balm. This is just, again, it's so different from my collection, but they fucking nailed it. It's just perfect. Look at that. Look at it. I do have that also on my face right now. It's just pure perfection. And that's it. I love the orangey tones, especially for this time of the year. But I am getting into more of the, you know, the pinky tones, because I'd be lying if I didn't think about putting the Makeup by Mario, the earthy pink, but I skipped on it. Ronnie, I almost said that too. Hourglass at Night. I pulled that one out, but I'm like, it's just, this one has stood the test of time. Oh my God, that's so funny though. I'm so glad that you remembered that I love that one, because I'm like, I don't show that nearly as much love. I need to pull that back out in my collection. So then we have, which highlighter has the perfect finish? And I had a swatch party this morning. When I got out of work, I'm like, all right, I really need to narrow these down. I swatched so many fucking highlighters, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why is this even a question? I have so many Dior highlighters, it's ridiculous. These are the best powder highlighters, in my humble opinion. I just think they're blinding. If I were to recommend any, though, it's this, simply because you get the variety of colors. I have the gold shade on right now, but it's like, it's the blinding factor, but it's how flattering it looks on your skin. It's just the bomb.com. And again, for how expensive these are and the fact that I have so many, it shouldn't have even been a question for me. And you know what? I'm going to drop it real quick, guys. You may or may not see the new highlighters. You know, these ones we keep seeing all over Instagram, you know? We may have a future video coming because, bitch, I'm excited. I get so excited over new Dior anyways, but the fact that they're highlighters. Oh! So Dior has my favorite simply because, look at it. A close second, though, was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy. I still don't know why they ever took that away because it was so good. But it was close, real close. Which lipstick has the perfect formula? I don't, like, this is where I suck at tags because I'm like, I can't just pick one. I can't do it because it's like everything has a purpose, right? Every lipstick has either the shade that I like or the formula or a little bit of mixture of both. But the lipsticks that have stood the test of time for me are the NARS Audacious. If you've never tried these, like, they are so expensive, but worth every single penny simply because, am I wearing this one today? No, I think I'm wearing Barbara today. Yes, Barbara is the shade that's on my lips right now. I am favorable towards a satin formula, but where these excel is the one swipe application. Okay? The like satinness, I almost said the sheerness. That's not the right word, Brittany. Get it together. The satin look that it has on the lips, but let me tell you how long these last on my damn lips. These are the best lipsticks I've ever tried. Hermes was a close second because I think the formula of Hermes reminds me a lot of these, but Hermes doesn't last as long. And the fact that I have 3 lipsticks, and I've had these for a really long time. And you know what? I'm surprised these aren't expired, but they don't smell expired. They're still going strong. I love when they do this like limited edition packaging too. Highly recommend NARS Audacious, but then another one I had to mention was the Propa Beauty lipsticks because I just love these because, again, I love a satin formula. I feel like you guys have heard me talk countless amounts of times about these lipsticks. But man, they're just like, okay, I feel like they get hype, but not as much as I think that they deserve. These are a very soft formula. That's the only downfall I would say about these is just you have to be very careful in the tube because they will move around because of how soft they are. But these undertones and this formula, I love the fact that it's a more like sheer but buildable formula. Oh my god, this shade here. I love these. And they're so inexpensive, it's ridiculous. You could usually get them for like, what is it, like $9 or $12, but then I do have an affiliate code with them as well. You get these dirt cheap. This is like pumpkin spice in a lipstick. This is the shade Limitless. But their first collection, it leaned very brown tone, but then they came out with a second collection, and it's more like pinks and reds. Moxie is my number one. Like, this one is so, so pretty. If I had to pick one, Moxie is it. If you have not tried Propa Beauty, for the price of these, the packaging super cute. Everything about Propa is incredible, so cannot recommend these enough. But it's a more sheer formula, though, so that's the only thing to be mindful of. If you want pigmentation, go for the NARS. If you want something more sheer, but super luminous and juicy on your lips, go for the Propa. They're incredible. Which palette has the perfect shimmers? Let me just say, I was like, you know what? I'm going off the grid for this one because ain't nobody touching Divina for shimmers. If you think somebody is, boy, do you get it wrong. Because their shimmers, I do dedicated swatch parties to Divinas for a fucking reason, because they're just incredible. So when I think of a shimmer, I think of something that it's got the sparkle, it's got just overall the shimmer, you know, like something like you would see on my lid right now. Not just a metallic, a shimmer. So you want some sparkle in there. Let me just tell you how smooth some of these formulas are. If you've never tried Divina, I don't know what you're waiting for. You need to watch my swatch parties on these. And if you have not added the damn shade Moonlit, this is like a glitter. But oh my god, it's the textures for me. They're so smooth, they feel like silk. Especially their multi-chromes. I'm just gonna do it because this one, oh my god. Oh my god. You need to watch my swatch parties if you've never tried Divina. Look at the shimmer. Just look at it. Okay? So Divina, this is not a palette, but I had to mention them because I'm like, if we're talking about shimmers, they need to be mentioned. So there's that. If we're talking about a palette, I picked 2 different brands because I'm such a hater. I'm like, Morgan and Patty, Pat McGrath could never right now. The Indie Beat Cosmetics Platinum Hits. I forget which video I talked about this, but these are just incredible. This palette's $69. And the texture, like the texture of these remind me of Divina because a lot of them are silky smooth, but wait till you see. Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? Okay, I've swatched this on my TikTok. And even on TikTok, I'm like, it still did not get the hype this deserves. Because these metallics or shimmers, whatever you want to call them, these are insane. And especially for $69 for how many you're getting. Granted, I don't love the packaging. I always mention that with my products is how I feel about packaging. Because for me, that is an important factor with makeup. But I'm like, for this palette, you're paying 100% for the eyeshadows. So these ones, I recommend, as long as you're not overly concerned about the packaging aspect. But I wanted to mention this brand as well because I think that they do shimmer so nicely, and it's Adept Cosmetics. And the reason I mentioned both of these is because Indie Beat Cosmetics, they kind of remind me of Adept, except they're smoother. Whereas Adept, I think that they're a little bit stiffer. But man, oh my god, a subscriber sent me this palette and I'm like losing my shit because these colors are so pretty. But this formula is a little bit more dense. It's a little bit more like work your finger in there. They're not like this silky soft like Divina. But oh my god. I can't. So this is the Kodan. And then there's the plain Jane. I couldn't pick because I'm like, they're all so beautiful. It's going to depend on which is like most appealing to you. I think if I were to pick between any of them, I would go for an anhydrous just because I think the purples and just everything in this palette is so unique for my collection. And this is where I feel like I would live the most. But they're so good. Again, luxury cannot touch indie when it comes to especially like eyeshadow shimmers. No fucking way. That's just me and my humble opinion. Morgan and Patty, don't hate me for that. I'm like, listen, these brands could never, okay? That's a lie. Never say never. Oh my god, I forgot to mention for highlighter. I got so wrapped up in Dior. Which number was that? Let's go back really quick. Highlighter has the perfect finish. Okay. The Elevated Glow by Lisa Eldridge. This is the creamer liquid that I'm going to put into this one. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm like backpedaling right now. This is on top of the Dior highlighter. This just makes everything look more skin-like. And the shade that I have is Cosmic Rose. The reason I chose this one for like the perfect highlight is because it's not shimmery or shiny. If anything, I think it's closest to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, but it doesn't have pigmentation. Like, it doesn't have coverage to it. So if anything, this is strictly a highlighter, but it just looks beautiful on the skin. My bad, guys. I forgot about that one. Ah! So, back to the shimmers. I do have another order from Divina. So if you guys want another swatch party, I got another 2 collections. I've got way too many, but it's fine. They're my Pokemon. I'm going to catch them all. Okay, and lastly, number 10. Which palette has the perfect color story? I was so close to choosing the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes because I'm like, this is like the perfect basic bitch. But if I had to pick the perfect color story for me, I had to pick, let's see if you guys can guess it, the Lunar Beauty Moonspell. Just because these are just the shadows that I live for. I will say, like, going back to this palette and touching it, I'm like, I don't know if I love the formula as much as I thought I did, especially after trying so many new amazing brands with eyeshadows. I need to review this again or like come back to it and try it, but every time that I use it, I'm like, I always love how my makeup looks come out, but it's like specifically color story. I love how it has the purples, the neutrals, and the greens. Like, this could not have been done better for me. This was like, let's make a palette for Brittany, and this is the color story that I live for. I just think it's so beautiful. So I need to revisit that one because I was like swatching it. I'm like, I don't know if these are as good as I remember. So we shall see. Oh my gosh. I am very curious to hear, what do you guys think of all of my picks today? I would love to hear you guys answer with your picks for each category because this was so much fun. I'm like, it's just fun to like go back through your collection, swatch everything, like figure out what you like, what you don't like. Oh my god, I need to declutter in the worst way though, because I'm like, why do I still have some of this stuff? Amanda says you can never have too many Divina. I counted all my singles. I have almost 400. Oh my god, that's so much. See, I'm more favorable, honestly, to palettes, but Divina's like that one brand. Like, initially it was Cleona, but then Divina was just like, they came in, swooped in, and I'm like, oh my god, I just love how silky soft their textures are. They just feel so nice. It's not all of their collections, but they're so good. But best believe Divina releases more shades in Terra Moon. I'm going to add. You're just going to keep on going. Keep on going. So guys, that was everything that I wanted to talk about for today's perfect makeup tag. Let me know what you guys thought. Oh my god, I suck. See, this is where I'm like, I suck at lives, okay? I suck. Which palette has the perfect color story? What's on my eyes, you're probably asking. I suck so bad. Okay, so I picked the Moonspell. This is like perfect color story, right? So then I'm like, but you can't compare a quad, or at least I can't compare a quad to like a full palette, if that makes sense. If I had to pick the perfect quad, everybody get ready to be pissed off at me right now. Charlotte Tilbury, Fire Rose. Charlotte Tilbury, how dare you take this away from everybody, because this palette is pure perfection. This is the perfect color story. Point blank period for me for a quad. I would love another one like this with like greens. She needs to bring back whatever she did with this palette because it is incredible. I did have a little casualty with this one like a month ago, but it's fine. But this is what's on the eyeballs today, guys. Don't be mad. I wonder if Tavia from Chic Profile Official can still get those. I know she was doing like a personal shopper service for these. I'm just saying. It's still super duper pretty. Okay, I promise that was it. I didn't forget anything else. I suck. Oh, let's see what you guys are saying. Guys, I'm sorry. The shade. I'm sorry, but not sorry. It's so beautiful, though. I couldn't not. And it's like, I was like, all right, it's a tag. I could take full advantage of wearing it because I haven't touched it in a while. I have all of the depth single shadows and all the palettes. I love their formula. Their formula is so, so nice. I love it. So, guys, That's it for me for today's video. Thank you to Morgan and Patty for creating this tag. If you guys want to see any other creators, tag them below. Share it out. I don't give a shit. But make sure you guys go check out Morgan and Patty's channel. They're two of my favorite just beauty influencers to watch. I think they're very knowledgeable about products, and I think they do fantastic makeup. So make sure you go check them out. And I will see you guys in my next one because we have Nordstrom content coming. We've got those Dior highlighters coming. We got a lot of stuff coming. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Okay, bye!